Hey guys, here's another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. Let's jump in and talk about what we did today. So Rafa again was focused on this 65 vert, finished it up. Need to get a hold of the owner, let him know we can come get it. Hopefully it's gonna stop raining. It has stopped raining. We'll see if it stays that way. He can come get his car. Anyway, some small things today was all that was left. New wiper blades, got those installed. The overrider supports, the grommets were kind of not really in the holes. They were just off and looked bad. So Rafa loosened up the whole back bumper, and I think he might have had to grind something a little bit to get things to line up better, but looking really good now. Everything is as it should be. Again, those little jobs like that end up taking a lot longer than you'd think just because things don't line up. And like I said, I heard him over here grinding on something a little bit. Probably had to elongate a hole or something on one of these supports to get it to line up correctly. The other thing was that the passenger door was actually hitting on the running board a little. I don't know if it was doing that before or if it was because we actually straightened the body out, which was crooked, that it started doing it. But either way, when you open and close the door, it was kind of rubbing on the running board. So he removed the running board, and what he had to do was, for those of you that are familiar with these, there's about 4 bolts in the bottom of the body here, and the running board itself has a piece that goes vertically, and it has essentially slots on it that kind of go over those 4 bolts. So what Rafa did was he sort of stretched those slots a little bit vertically, which let the running board sit a little bit lower. So that helped out a lot with that. And then one of the running board bolts, they're supposed to be nuts that are welded to the body, so you basically just put screws in. So one of the nuts was busted off, so he had to open that up and basically weld a new nut to the body inside there for the running board to attach. So got that all done and looking good now. So yeah, car is done. It's a really cool looking car. And now it looks even better that it's got good gaps and good window alignment, and the rear bumper is looking good now. So there you go. The other thing today is pretty much got the front beam and its brakes all together today. These brakes ended up being a huge pain. I don't know why, but we bought the brake spring kit. So the front of these brakes, there's just 2 long springs that connect the 2 brake shoes together. I don't know what was going on with those springs that we bought, but they were super stiff, and we literally could not stretch the 2 brake shoes. So one sits here, one sits kind of on the bottom like that, and so you have to install the springs between them and then assemble them onto the slave wheel cylinders and the adjusters. We literally were here with pry bars trying to stretch the springs and everything. Shouldn't be that hard. We tried and tried. Finally, we got another set of springs, and they went on as they should. So somehow we got a defective set of springs, way too stiff. So, who knows? Unfortunately, a lot of these parts come out of China now. That's just the reality. And sometimes their quality control over there, as you probably know, leaves a little bit to be desired. So yeah, for whatever reason, this batch of brake springs totally unusable. We could not assemble the brakes. They were so stiff. Another pair from actually the same vendor, boom, they went right on. So weird, but it's one of those things when you're putting the car together, you don't anticipate it taking that long just to assemble brakes, but sometimes these weird little things come up. But anyway, together now. Went and knocked the old bearing races out of the drums, had the drums machined, knocked the new bearing races in, greased the bearings, put them on. So this front end is pretty much ready to bolt on the car now. Although I think the car, or bus I should say, is going to our neighbor's shop probably tomorrow for them to install the headliner and the rag top. So this guy is probably going to be gone for about a week. probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then certainly the next day. So on the actual bus itself, managed to get a couple things done. One is I got the shifter is installed. So on a bus, there's actually 2 shift rods, unlike a Beetle. So there's this one that the shifter actually goes in and actuates as you shift. That one runs up to about here under the car. And then from there, there's a second one that it attaches to with a coupler that runs all the way to the back to essentially the transmission nose cone. So those have some different seals on them and different bushings. Got those all installed today. And so that's pretty much done. Just one more thing off the list. Trying to think what else I did on this today. The other minor thing was just some touch-up work on it. The underside of the frame horns, which look pretty nice now, were really gross and hadn't been painted. Kind of the last few inches of these up to where the hole is here. I don't know why the painter didn't paint those. They were dirty, they were unpainted. So I cleaned those up, and again, I've got some paint in a rattle can that's the same color, and so touch those up. You know, even though we weren't responsible for the paint on this bus, it's still, when we build a car, we do everything we can to fix other people's mistakes or you know, kind of shortcomings. And so on a car like this, when you start going through it with a fine-tooth comb like we do and actually start assembling it, you find all kinds of little things like that. I mentioned the other day there were some areas up underneath the front here, same deal. Areas that were just dirty and unpainted. You know, we don't want to put a car out like that, even though, again, we're not responsible for the paint job. Ultimately, we're responsible for what the car looks like when it's done. So we do everything we can to fix things, even that were done by other shops, certainly when we can. So those were kind of the main things for today. So this car will probably be gone tomorrow. We'll see. Got to let the owner know, see when he can come get it. And this one will probably be gone tomorrow too for about a week while it's getting its headliner. So yeah, we'll be focused on these other cars some. This one actually, the motor, the carburetor, and the distributor went on today. Probably go ahead and stick this motor in the car in the next day or so. So that'll be a project that we're getting back to here as this one goes away and this one leaves temporarily. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.